Hey everybody, this is Joseph Pasek and welcome to the On the Mat Wrestling Show with my good friends Donnie Da Silva of Huge Pop Wrestling Show and of course the referee who should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm going to announce that every week, okay, Jimmy? Every week, Jimmy Corderas here. Boy, are you guys tired? Or because on Saturday, if I talk to you after like 17 hours of wrestling, I think you're going to be tired. I know Donnie's going to watch, flip through everything, and he's going to script a super kick that you could see the last Friday in July and everything like that. But Jimmy, you're going to watch NXT, you're going to watch AEW, you're going to watch Saturday Night Main Event, you're going to watch Evolution, you're going to watch Raw, you're going to watch back NWA from 1986 or what?
Oh my goodness! You mentioned 17 hours. That's just the All-In pay-per-view. I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to watch anything else, but I'm going to try and catch. Yeah, I'm going to try and catch what I can. Obviously, I'm going to hit the main points, but I'll start with basically, like you said, Saturday afternoon is All In. That's going to be tough, so that might have to wait till later. Saturday night's Main Event. Usually at 8:00, I'm starting to settle down. I mean, it's not like the old days where you went clubbing at 8:00. You know what I mean?
Donnie's still
yeah. Well, Donnie's still a young pup.
To start us all off is NXT Great American Bash. Let's get to a couple matches here. It starts also the same time as All In at 3 p.m. This match, I think we're all looking forward to. Falls Count Anywhere match for the NXT North American Championship. Ethan Page versus Ricky Saints. I'll start off with Donnie.
Sorry, everyone's looking forward to this match?
Well, most Canadians from Hamilton. Put it that way.
Okay. I'm not from Hamilton. I don't know, man. Like, I know that there's a lot of people that are looking at this match like, oh, well, the winner is the North American champion and the loser will be promoted to the main roster. I'm not looking at it that way because I still think Ricky Saints has a lot to prove in NXT. And I think Ethan Page has stuff to do as well. I think he still has some polishing to do. I think he's light years better than he was in AEW, but I still think there's work there to be done. So, interesting match. The Falls Count Anywhere, I guess it makes sense considering the way that this rivalry has evolved. You would want some kind of a gimmick, some kind of a stip between these two, and you don't want it to be something like a cage or something like that as an early match on a pay-per-view, right? I think so. This makes a lot of sense for the type of match it is. It's basically going to be a hardcore match where they fight all over the building and do all that. That's fine. I don't know. The interesting part, though, is neither one of these guys are like big spot guys. You know what I'm saying? They're not high flyers. They're not guys that you're going to expect to see like jumping off a scaffolding onto the other guy, which is fine. I have no problem with that. I am anticipating a brawl, and I want to see a good brawl. And that's all I'm really looking forward to here. If the fight feels legit, then the match itself will be successful.
And who's your pick?
Gun to the head, I'll say Saints.
All right, Jimmy.
No, I agree with a lot of what Donnie said. The thing that's being lost now is in a lot of matches like this, stipulation matches where basically the rules are thrown out the window. Fans anticipate the use of a lot of bells and whistles, I'm going to say, instead of foreign objects or even domestic objects, whatever they use. This is going to be the challenge for these guys. This is going to be the challenge to kind of bring it back and rein it in and still be entertaining, to the audience and get them engaged. Because what do we always see? Every time a match like this happens, we want tables. Chant breaks out or something like that. So Hopefully they could avoid the usual go-to set pieces and really, really, like Donnie said, make it a brawl. Make it look like these guys really hate each other instead of setting up spots. Because it's driving me insane with how many matches nowadays you watch where the spots are being set up to the detriment of the match because it takes so long to set that damn spot up.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel genuine. You know what I mean? And I know everybody said, "Oh, it's wrestling. It's okay." No, if you're going to suspend disbelief, make me suspend my disbelief and make it feel authentic. But I have
the cliche gimmick, Jimmy, where they set up like a double table on the outside, and it's there at the very beginning of the match, and you're like, "Well, there's the finish. It's just a matter of when we get there, right?"
Right. Just use something that's like in everyday life other than the folding table from Walmart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if I would, I'm just curious because like Donnie said, Ethan Page has really, really grown in NXT. Would I like to see him continue as champion? I think it fits him well, but at this point, I think it's too soon for Ricky Saints to eat another loss to Ethan Page. So I think the babyface prevails here.
All right. So let's get to the NXT North American Women's Championship match. Sol Ruca versus Izzy Dane. Donnie, go ahead.
I don't see any reason whatsoever to take the title off Sol Ruca right now. Now, that all being said, I'm confused when I watch NXT TV. I don't know about you guys. Jimmy, I don't know about you, but like from week to week, is Sol Ruca a heel or a babyface? Like some days she seems very heelish with Zarya by her side, and some days she seems like this sweetheart, like lovable, namaste, I want to hug everybody, Bailey throwback. I'm not sure as a character who she is from week to week. Izzy Dane, to me, if this title switch happened, it would be a bigger shock than JC Jane beating Stephanie Becker. And that was a pretty big shock.
Yeah.
I just don't think Izzy Dane has much momentum right now. I think this is a match for the sakes of having a match. I think everybody is looking at Sol Ruca like she has a lot in front of her, and she's a future star. And I think this is a match just to have Sol Ruca on your card. I thought it was very telling when Izzy Dane published on Instagram recently and said her engagement on Instagram goes way down when she posts solo photos and not with her boyfriend Braun Breaker. When you have a pretty girl on Instagram who's getting less likes when she doesn't post pictures with her big beefy boyfriend, that's weird. I don't know, man. I think that if they really want to invest in Izzy and make something out of her and maybe shift Zarya and Sol Ruca strictly to tag team work, but that would really mean moving up to the main roster. And I don't think either one of them are ready for that yet. So I say Sol holds on to it.
All right, Jimmy.
No, I'm looking at this and I'm confused a little bit with Sol Ruca as well, and her pairing with Zarya. I hope it's not the cliche Zarya turns on her to cost her the championship and blah blah blah, because that doesn't help Izzy whatsoever.
No.
If you want to make someone, you have to make someone when you beat someone, and this is Izzy's opportunity to shine and show that she is progressed and is getting better and is ready for the next step, whatever that is for her. So this is going to be the hard part. Sol Ruca is going to be the one who's going to have to help elevate her. And I'm not confident that she is at that stage of her development in wrestling where she is able to elevate someone else.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting match on how they do this. She does have, in some people's opinions, the prettiest finish in wrestling, but that's just not enough.
But that finish, man, like there's some days when she hits that thing and I think to myself, God, is she going to be sore by the time she's 32? Like that is a big bump, man. Especially when she does the top rope variation of it. That's a big bump, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's amazing there. All right, Jordan Grace, Blake Monroe versus Fatal Influence, Donnie.
I've heard a lot of conflicting stories about this. Our friends over at Wrestling Republic are pretty convinced that the heels are going to go over on this one. I think there's not a chance in hell that Blake Monroe in her first NXT match doesn't pick up the win. And I think that they make a statement here and have her pin the champion. That's the way I see this all unfolding. Jordan Grace, we already know she's lined up for the title match, right? And I think that this is just going to be a really easy way to convince the audience that Blake Monroe is at that level.
All right, Jimmy, what do you say?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I hate to sound like Captain Agreeable, but it makes perfect sense exactly how Donnie laid it out. I mean, Jordan Grace has already established herself in NXT. A lot of people are pinning her for an early jump to the main roster. Whether that happens sooner rather than a little bit later, it's going to happen eventually. It has to, but it's just a matter of how long it's going to take. Blake Monroe is the immediate focus right now. She's the one that they should or need to establish right now. Obviously, she got the buzz coming over from NXT, Mariah May, the former Mariah May, but now is the time for her to deliver. Not only on the mic, now she has to deliver her character in ring and give us an idea of where she's going. So this match is more for her than anybody else, I believe.
All right, so let's quickly, couple seconds before we preview another show. Let's get to the main event. And Oba Femi, is there any way he's going to lose?
No.
So, that's it.
Why are we even discussing this? No.
Okay, that's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
I knew.
Yeah.
Seconds.
That's it. Moving on.
I like Yoshi Inamura, and I've talked about this with Jimmy, and I said, in the last few weeks, they've taken Yoshi Inamura from being a total non-factor on NXT television in a tag team that I didn't give a crap about, and they've turned him into this very interesting character who has way more physical charisma than I thought. He's got something like. And I'm not saying this because he's Japanese, but in terms of physical charisma, and physical charisma is so important when your English is not great, right? If you can't get over with a promo, your physical presence has to tell stories. And Jimmy, you know who he reminds me of? I was thinking about this, and I'm not just saying this because he's Japanese. I'm saying this because of the physical charisma, the way he exudes energy. He reminds me of Tajiri. But not obviously not size-wise, not work rate, but just in like the energy that goes through everything he does. Now, he's not at Tajiri's level because Tajiri was masterclass, 5th degree black belt, ninja level presentation-wise. But he's on that trajectory to have that kind of presence, Right, but right. I don't see him having a prayer of beating Oba Femi. Let's just be real.
And does that, when NXT puts Oba Femi against him and puts him against last month Jasper Troy and all that, does NXT have lack of heel guys who could go against the champion?
That's not just NXT, Joe.
Yeah,
that's a nationwide problem. I'm telling you, not just in NXT, not just in the main roster. That's across the board.
Yeah, I think that's a lot to do with why Gunther is now champion, not Jey Uso, because there's a lot more credible baby faces than there are credible heels.
Right.
we'll talk about that and next time up. But Donnie, tell everybody about Huge Pop Wrestling Show. What do you have this week?
This week, right now, if you go to Huge Pop Radio or firedupnetwork.ca, you can hear our exclusive sit-down, face-to-face, in a wrestling ring interview with the legend Al Snow. Jimmy and I sat down with him in person last week and did an exclusive interview. Next week on the show, you will be able to hear our preview of TNA's 23rd installment of Slammiversary. And our guest for that will be the former WWE World Champion, former Money in the Bank winner, former TNA World Champion, current TNA Tag Team Champion, Nick Nemeth. And it's going to be absolutely awesome.
All right, that's great. And by the way, kudos to you, Donnie. That promo at the beginning of my good Aaron Stevens was one everybody should go out and forget about the show for 2 seconds. Listen to this guy's promo, right, Jimmy?
Yeah,
that's every show, baby.
Yep.
I know, but that one, because obviously I know the guy well, and he liked it. He liked it, the face on him and everything. Jimmy, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you social media.
Social media wise, at Jimmy Corderas on Twitter, at Real Jimmy Corderas on Instagram, doing my ref and rants. Of course, you'll find me plugging Huge Pop Radio and reffing it up and just having a lot of fun, still talking about wrestling.
All right, and these guys
and dealing with some fun people on there sometimes too.
And these guys
and reffing it up with Jimmy and Daniel Spencer from TNA and Brian Hebner. They got a killer interview this week with Carlito, so that's worth checking out too.
Yes.
And Daniel Spencer, another good friend of the Fired Up Network. He's the only referee. Have you ever worn long sleeve shirts?
Long sleeve? The only ones I wore was the old blue shirt with the bow tie because I thought long sleeves were required. And then they found out, oh, no, you can wear short sleeve shirts. I said, really? Good. I don't have to sweat up a storm anymore. But then I realized, you know what? The long sleeves aren't so bad because the mat can give you mat burn.
Matt Byrne and Daniel Spencer, he's a head referee TNA, but he also drives the truck with the ring and everything like that. So
yeah,
he's one of the great guys. But check out TNA. Go ahead.
And don't forget, he's the lead official at OVW as well.
Yes, OVW as well. And check out Huge Pop Radio, and they got great interviews. And these guys will be back just in a couple seconds to preview the other shows on Saturday. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, Joe.